In this video, I'll be breaking down how much you need to make in order to afford a 2023 Chevy Colorado. I think you should really consider following one of these rules in order to avoid making a huge car buying mistake that'll end up setting you back for years to come. I've also included a link to a free auto quote where you could save up to $600 a year in the description below, but more on that later. There are 4 options that I'll be going over today, and you can decide on which one suits you the best depending on how into cars you are. Some people just want a reliable form of transportation, take them from point A to point B, and some are willing to sacrifice quite a lot more, spend a little bit more money in order to get the car that they really want to. Stick around to the end of the video to find out what method would be best for your personal situation. This is 4-Wheel Finance, a channel dedicated to helping you make smart car buying decisions. Before I dive into the first rule, these videos take quite a lot of time and effort to make. Please give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what other vehicles that you would like me to review. The first rule is the 24-10 rule, and this states that you should put at least 20% down on the car, you shouldn't finance it for more than 4 years or 48 months, and the payment shouldn't be more than 10% of your monthly gross income. Since the 2023 Chevy Colorado has an estimated MSRP of about $28,000, this would mean you should put down $5,600. And with the average new vehicle interest rate of about 3.86% and a 48-month term, this would bring your monthly payment to about $504.37. Take note here, you're also paying about $1,800 in interest. Bankrate states that the average monthly insurance cost is around $148, but this varies quite a lot, so use that smart financial link I've got there in the description. Find out exactly how much it would cost for you to insure something like this. It really depends on your age, your gender, your driving habits, and what part of the country you live in, so it can vary quite drastically. This brings your monthly total to $652.37. Going back to that 24-10 rule, given your monthly cost is $652.37, you would need a monthly gross income of $6,500 or an annual gross income of about $78,000. I really encourage you to take a look at the opportunity cost here. If you were to buy a cheaper $5,000 or $10,000 car in cash, and put what would be your car payment of around that $504 in the market instead, over the course of 5 years with a relatively conservative 6% rate of return, this would turn into about $35,000, gaining almost $5,000 here in interest alone. Give a look at those Acorns and M1 Finance links that I've got there in the description. It's super easy to get started investing, and I encourage you to get started as early as you can. It's best to put even a little bit of money in the market. It can grow over the long term, and it's pretty impressive to see what it can turn into. And again, this is just for the first 5 years. To give you an idea, what it would look like at 10 years, it would be about $82,000, again, just at that 6% rate of return, and that's pretty conservative. The stock market tends to average around 10% return per year. The next rule here is my own, and for my rule, I think you should have at least a 6-month emergency fund built up, especially if you're in an industry such as sales or a commission-based industry. You should have at least 15% of your monthly gross income into your 401k or 403b, and then max out your Roth IRA, and if you really want to be a superstar, your HSA as well, if you have that available. And I know that this seems like quite a lot of saving, but I don't really give you a monthly percentage rule to stick to in terms of spending beyond that. So it's up to you to decide if you want to put more of your money on a car, even if it's a little bit more expensive and maybe out of your budget. As long as you got that saving covered, I'm good with that. Or if you'd rather spend it on vacations or going out to eat more or traveling, that sort of deal. As long as you do those saving and investing, I'm not going to tell you how to spend the rest of it. And the 6-month emergency fund there, again, that's just in case an emergency happens. And the investing portion gives you a little bit of financial security later in life when you're probably going to need it the most. There's a lot of people out there saying, well, nothing's guaranteed. You should live today how you want to. And it's true that nothing's guaranteed. But there's a very high percentage you're going to live to at least into your mid-70s, maybe late 70s. So I highly encourage you to get started investing as early as you can. Next rule is the Dave Ramsey rule. And he thinks you should have at least a 3 to 6 month emergency fund built up. The vehicle shouldn't be more than 50% of your annual gross income, and you should purchase it in cash. Given that the 2023 Chevy Colorado is estimated at about $28,000, your annual gross income would need to be a minimum of $56,000. Ideally, it's nice to purchase a vehicle in cash, as you would avoid having to pay that $1,800 in interest, and your insurance would be a little bit lower, but obviously not everybody's got $28,000 in cash that they can put towards a car. The final rule I'm going over today is the 1/10 rule, which was developed by Financial Samurai. Personally, one I think the majority of people that are trying to build their wealth quickly should pay attention to and consider. It really doesn't allow you to buy a new vehicle, but it's set up to help you spend responsibly, which reduces your financial car ownership stress and increases your net worth quicker over time compared to a couple other methods. This rule is pretty straightforward. It states that you shouldn't spend more than 10% of your gross annual income on a vehicle. It can be new or old, but obviously it's probably going to be used for just about everybody. And you should own it for at least 5 years, but ideally more. And the theory behind this here is to minimize your financial car ownership stress, frees up a little bit of money to invest in assets or opportunities that may come your way, things that go up in value. It's much more difficult in making life decisions when you're worried about payments each and every month. Once again, this is Four Wheel Finance. If you have any questions regarding car buying or how much of a car you can afford, please leave them down there in the comments below. And don't forget to give a look at that Smart Financial link if you want to save a little bit of money on your car insurance. It's a free quote. Just see if you can save a couple of bucks here.